Day 3 of testimonies in the Presidential Commission of Inquiry (CoI) has concluded, with the leader of the Liberty and Justice Party (LJP), Lennox Schumann, being the sole person to take the stand. The majority of Schumann's testimony confirmed what was explicitly described by other persons who took the stand in the days before. Firstly, the former presidential candidate corroborated the story involving former IT officer at the Guyana Elections Commission, Enrique Livan, in which there seemed to be an attempt to manipulate the number of votes emanating from Region 4. After being caught by several persons in another room with a computer and a flash drive, he was ordered to publicly display what he was doing on that computer. What appeared was shocking.
When the computer was opened, it was plugged in, we saw several files on the desktop displayed on the screen. And we started to point out which file it is that we were working with in the initial tabulation. Mr. Livan opened one file that was a completely different region. We said, no, it's not that one. It's the next one. So when he clicked on the next icon, what opened up was a pre-populated spreadsheet. Not the one that we were working on when we came in and when we were going through the tabulation process. He clicked on the folder, I would say in error, and this pre-populated spreadsheet came up, and there was this massive uproar.
Schumann then detailed what occurred when then returning officer for Region 4 Claremont Mingo entered the tabulation room under heavy police guard to make a declaration.
When he said that he was going to make a declaration, the entire room, save for the APNU AFC representatives and the ministers who would have entered and seated themselves, everyone else erupted in very boisterous protests.
He went on to clarify why this happened.
Our position was that we have not concluded the tabulation process, verification tabulation of Region 4, and it is completely and absolutely premature to make a declaration without going through that process.
Schumann then paints a grave depiction of the treatment of even the objective, unbiased international observers whose only role was to oversee the electoral process.
I was part of a group of people who stood at a door inside Ashman's building on the second floor, where all of the observers and the diplomats were summoned to a meeting convened by Ms. Cummings. I stood at the door and listened to her threaten to revoke the accreditation of these observers, and she was accompanied at that meeting by Roxanne Myers.
In this video furnished to the commission and played during Schumann's testimony, GCOM officials were seen allegedly manipulating envelopes which contained key election documents.
Councillor, there's something that within the very same video that needs also to be said, is that while one person is removing the seal, there is also another captured in the background that is also resealing it with what looks like a glue stick.
The LJP leader said he sent the video to then Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, reflecting the extremely suspicious activity of employees under his purview. Schumann then described the nonchalant response he received from Mr. Lowenfield.
I said, CEO, look at what your staff is doing. This should not be happening. And he said, I will deal with it.
Schumann spoke about what transpired after Mingo, party officials and observers left the Ashman's building and headed over to the GCOM headquarters. This occurred after Mingo was served with a court order that compelled him to complete the verification process before the declaration of results for Region 4 could be made. Schumann described the shabby setup in the parking lot of the headquarters and furnished the commission with this picture. The testimonies for the day then closed with this video of returning officer Claremont Mingo attempting to make a declaration on the steps of Ashman's building with loud objections emanating from several persons within the facility. The Commission of Inquiry was set up by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali to inquire into the events surrounding the March 2, 2020 general and regional elections. On day 2, former executive member of the Anew and United Guyana ANOG party testified before the commission and chillingly described his experience as a party agent during the events involving the tabulation process. That person was none other than Mr. Jonathan Yearwood. Founder and General Secretary of the New Movement Party, TNM, Dr. Josh Kanai, was the second and final person to testify on day 2. Kanai took the time to shed light on what occurred when it was reported that the chairwoman of GCOM, retired Justice Claudette Singh, could not be contacted. The electoral process was protracted for more than 5 months as there were several attempts to delay and deliberately manipulate the process of elections. The COI is tasked with revealing all that occurred during those grueling 5 months.